What it do, y'all? It's your man King Eric, represents Screwball Radio, Off the Cuff Radio. So let's get to it, man. Now we talked on the show last night about Big Pun finally getting a street named after him, Pun Plaza. That was a beautiful moment in hip hop. I'm hoping that eventually the people within the Terror Squad could mend their issues. But I don't really see that happening anytime soon. But I hope for the greater purpose they can focus on Big Pun's legacy and put the ego tripping aside. So I want to talk about the Yeah Baby album. We talked about this last year. Now, Capital Punishment was a blockbuster smash. Pun came through and he kicked the door down and he opened up new doors for the Latinos to really have their voice heard in the hip hop. And it also made Fat Joe a player in the game now. Like he had respect, but after he discovered Pun, he became a player. So from 98 and 99, Pun success was growing. He was nominated for a Grammy. He would start doing features on everybody's projects. He's done remixes with Ricky Martin, Whitney Houston, Jennifer Lopez, Cameron, the Rough Riders. He was everywhere within that 1 year. But on the sad side, he was gaining a lot of weight. His weight was getting out of control. Like, this dude was working so hard. He was touring off the Capital Punishment album. He was working on the Terror Squad album. He was trying to get the Foundation record label up. And he was working on Yeah Baby. All while battling health issues. So this album was released 2 months later after he passed. It was like April 4th, I believe. I remember buying it that day. And it seemed to me, when I would listen to it the first couple of times, it seemed to me that, for the most part, the production value went on the decline a little bit. Like, you didn't really get that super lyrical, that beware, or that you ain't a killer type stuff. Like, I think he went out for new production, to new producers, I believe. And plus, he wanted to reach a broader sound. I think, believe it or not, had Pun lived, he would have tapped into reggaeton. You could hint that he was getting at that with that 100% single. And first of all, I also noticed about that album was that It's Hard, Laughing at You, a lot of these songs were lighter. They were lighter songs. And just like when we had Tony Sunshine on the show, he said he was featured on more songs than the album put out. Plus, he was originally on the Donnell Jones joint, It's So Hard, which was great. Classic song. But don't get it twisted, man. Pun let niggas know on his album that despite what's going on, he can still give it to you raw. Pause. Listen to the song with New York Giants, Leatherface, Off With His Head. Yo, it's Off With His Head. Smack the shit out of the devil and turn the horns to his head, from his head. I was like, whoa. He still had the bars. He still had the sharp mindset lyrically, but you could tell, listen to some of them songs, his breath control was really getting to him. And the album itself wasn't properly mixed. If you really listen to the other song that was up there with Cuban Link, We Don't Care, you could tell this album wasn't really properly mixed properly. And Pun was working on it, but then he passed. So I guess they just put it together. And I found also odd that Fat Joe wasn't even on the album, which was odd to me. And you could tell that even Pun wasn't even 100% on it. I could kind of tell by listening to it. It didn't really have flow structure like that. It just sounded like them songs were just put together to make a deadline. But there's some interesting things that you need to intake on this album. Remy Martin made her debut on this album, titled Miss Martin. She can spit. My Turn, which was one of the dopest songs up there. He was sending shots back at 50 Cent, because 50 was trolling with how to rob. And this was one song in particular that I know couldn't get released today, especially from a Latino artist, is that nigga shit. Where Pun was basically mocking fun of black stereotypes at that time. And he would consider himself black as well, just by the way he said it. But it was like a comedy song. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, this couldn't get released today. It couldn't get released today at all because of the insensitivity, and they would probably try to cancel Pun off this song. But it was basically a homage to black culture as he knew it. That's all it was. It wasn't to disrespect blacks, because if you really listen to the song, it was basically paying homage to how he lived as well. But this shit damn sure couldn't come out today. Oh yeah, y'all gotta check out the song Leatherface. Leatherface is up there with You Ain't a Killer. Leatherface was one of the hardest songs that Pun ever did. I mean, shoot. He was straight blanking on that joint there, man. And the opening verse alone, it's not a game, it's war, plain and raw, blood stained the wall. When I bring the chain with the sword, bring the pain to your door like death was knocking. Unless you got my ends, I'm gonna make you twins with the headless horseman. Like, god dang. Whew. It's crazy. But it's still a good album, man. It wasn't nowhere near Capital Punishment. We will never know what direction this album would have really went had Pun hadn't passed away. But it's still a good project. It's still a good project. You got to be aware that it wasn't properly mixed. They probably rushed it out there because it had a deadline, and they probably want to capitalize off its sales. But it's a good album. It's definitely a good album. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Peace.